Welcome to Movie Recall. In today's video, we will be going through the 2020 movie Enter the Fat Dragon. It's time to recall, let's get started, turn on subtitles, and spoilers ahead. The movie starts with a man preparing for breakfast and he's happy, washing his face and brushing his teeth. He is getting ready for a good morning. On the other hand, there's a movie set up and a woman is getting ready for her shot. She's that man's girlfriend, and as she is on break, she calls him and tells him to bring flowers, otherwise she will not marry the man, and tells him that his suit is ready on the cupboard. It is their wedding day. In the next scene, you see the man all dressed up, with flowers in one hand, going to the bank to withdraw some cash for the wedding. The man is with another guy, and he asks him to sit in a van and wait for him to come out. Four men walk into the bank wearing masks as he is waiting in line. Nothing is suspicious, outing Fallon's fellow is waiting for him to come out, but there is a van behind that is parked wrong. However, people have yet to notice. Inside that van is another man working on his laptop, and as he clicks one button, the bank's lights go off. The bank is now in complete darkness, and the four men were the robbers. They take out their guns and fire to the wall and scare people to collect the money. Fallon, on the other hand, is not scared. Nonetheless, he is a cop, a police officer, so he decides to fight back. He throws stuff at the robbers, which makes them mad, and in the fight, they hear force coming into the bank. So they rush to the gate, but take the yellow van in which Fallon's friend was waiting for him. Fallon follows them. Along the way, Zhu and his team face numerous challenges, including a group of dangerous assassins, a corrupt Japanese police force, and his insecurities about his weight and physical abilities. Despite these obstacles, Zhu is determined to complete his mission and bring the criminal to justice. This turns into a fight, and Fallon jumps to the back of the van, making the robbers more angry. He is a skilled, trained policeman who knows how to fight, so Fallon Zhu punches the first robber and starts a fight. They are all fighting in extreme acting. The robbers throw things at him, but he manages to escape and throw them out instead. The fight causes a lot of drama in the city, so the media are taking live coverage. In the end, Fallon Zhu manages to catch the last robbers, but the van brakes fail, and Fallon hits his van at the police station, which makes the police and media very angry. On the other hand, Fallon's girlfriend is angry. She yells at him for missing their wedding day, and between the fight, he tells her that she is a lousy actress and should quit acting, but she gets angry and asks him if they should break up, and Fallon is left with no other choice but to end the relationship. The next day, he is depressed and his colleagues are tired of him. His girlfriend has broken the relationship, and the police department has asked him to turn his badge down and move to another department where he cannot make any mess. In all the thinking, he fell while cycling and broke his leg. He is in a rest bed and switches to the investigation department where he sits all day and eats junk food. This makes him a fat man, and now he is depressed because he eats, sits, and does nothing all day. Fast forward to 6 months have passed by. Fallon is a miserable man. He sits by himself, sings himself a happy birthday song, and repeats the lines Chloe's ex said to him. The most important thing to say is to be safe. On the other hand, the mafia enters the room in Japan. He is the fishery owner, but on the back he sells drugs. Fallon police buddy gets him a chance to be back at the job. He calls him to a city hospital and shows him a patient. The patient is the victim of a bank robbery explosion. He hits his head that the robbery day happened at the start of the movie and loses his memory. Buddy asks him that if Fallon takes care of the victim, which is a porn director, and takes him safely to Japan, he will write a good police report and gets him back at his old job. Fallon is thankful to his friends, and happily, he gets on the flight with the victim to Japan. On the same flight, he sees Chloe, and they talk a bit. As the plane is about to take off, Chloe's clients come in to ask her to be back in the set. And guess what? He is that drug mafia. While calling, Chloe sees the victim and recognizes that he is. As they reach Japan, the victim has to use the washroom, but he is attacked by the mafia man there. The situation gets out of control and Fallon loses the victim, which puts him into more trouble, and his buddy, on the other hand, asks him to find the victim at once. What's next? He doesn't know. So the Japanese police find him a man named Thor because the victim that the drug dealer kidnapped was named Thor, and the Japan police asked him to take this man instead, but Fallon wants to search for the real Thor, and the police assure him to find the real man. So the fake Thor becomes Fallon's ally and takes Fallon with him to eat. He tells Fallon that he has been a part of the police department for 10 years and takes him to his ex-girlfriend's restaurant, which the fake Thor still loves. There, Fallon is faced with another challenge. At Thor's ex-girlfriend's restaurant, some goons have been making some serious problems and asking for gambling money to run the restaurant, and the woman refuses to give him any money. And when the goons are making a mess and throwing everything and breaking things, at that moment, Fallon shows up. He fights the goons, and despite being triple the weight, he is fast and quick to judge the movement of his opponents. One goon throws a chair at him and he slides down, kicks him, and then hits the goon back with that chair. He makes sure all the goons are given the same treatment, so Fallon beats them, and the fight is now on the road. With such cleverness, Fallon locks all the goons in the corner shop, and that moment the police arrive. Fallon cannot wait to get them arrested, but Thor calls him upstairs and tells him that the police are with the goons, and they always arrive after the fight ends. Fallon, an active and goon fighter policeman, gets disappointed by seeing this. When they enter the restaurant, the woman is furious. She shouts at both men for creating such a mess and says that it was better if she had given half the money to the goons. She tells them to get out and leave. Before leaving, Thor hands the money to the woman's sons and asks him to give it to his mother, and she gets confused. She knows that the man loves him, but they never express their feelings. Thor takes Fallon to his home and shares a drink with him. In the balcony, Fallon asks Thor what's going on with Thor and the woman. He tells Fallon that he's been waiting for Thor, and that he has been waiting for that woman for 10 years, and that he respects and loves her. She is the strongest person he has ever met and seen. On the other hand, the drug mafia commander is beating Thor, the port director. What happened earlier was that Thor was filming and accidentally filming the drug mafia filling fish with drugs, and the mafia sees him, but Thor that day flees the scene. And from that day, the mafia has been searching for him and the recording. So when in Japan, they have him. The mafia comes into the room in front of Thor, but he now doesn't have his memory and cannot recall a thing. The goons start to beat Thor with baseballs, beating him to the point where he's dead, and throw him away. The next morning, Fallon is called by the Tokyo police officers, and they tell him to come to the port. He goes there to realize that the man who would have saved his job is now dead. Fallon gets confused. How can a man die like that? There must be an issue. But the police say that the film director was found on the sea and had been tested for an overdose of drugs. Also, they found a suicide note near him, but Fallon doesn't believe him at all, and now he wants to find answers. Fallon gets the address of director Thor and goes to his house for evidence. Fallon is furious. He's looking around for even the tiniest thing to see if he can get anything his hands on. And in the pillow cover is the cell phone, full of evidence about the drug mafia. It has the video the director recorded, and which is why the media lord killed him. They also find a dog and something related to the drug mafia and the fishery factory. But the dog is furious and hungry. What's funny here is when they try to calm the dog down, he bites Thor on his bum, and Fallon tries to hit the dog and he hits Thor. The dog leaps to Fallon after that, and it's a cat-mouse race, but in the last, our hero wins. He slides into the cupboard and the dog does that, and from another end, Fallon gets out, locking the dog inside. They get the things they found and rush out of the house towards the fishery. Fallon wants to find who killed the director, as it was his duty to protect him, and Thor wants a thrill. When they both reach the fishery, there's an event happening there, and Fallon sees Chloe there. She is attending the event as a guest because she is a big movie star now, and Fallon tries to say hello, but she ignores him. So they move their mission and try to find the evidence. They dressed as working staff and went to the backside to find any evidence. And they find something fishy. Fallon asks Thor to split up, and there he sees some guys putting drugs into the fishes. The goons see him and get furious. To get the hard evidence, Thor picks up the fish and runs like a maniac, and there, Fallon shows up, and a fight erupts. The goons hit Thor and try to kill him, but Fallon shows his ninja skills and martial arts and gives a hard time to everyone. They try to throw the table and knock him, but he's fast despite being fat. They're having a full-on fight, and when the fight gets bad, Fallon rides on a selector to move away from the goons and saves himself. Ends up in the front where the event is happening. When people get scared, Fallon stops and immediately warns Fellow that she might be in trouble because the people she's working with are bad guys. Fallon shouts, angering the drug mafia, but he has a good fake image that he cannot damage, so he pretends that he's fine and thinks Fallon is crazy. But Chloe shouts at Fallon and asks him to leave in such an insistent because this is the first time she feels like she is an actor and this job is important to him, and tells him to quit the police. Fallon is now devastated by the words that Chloe said to him, and he decides to leave Tokyo and the mission and go back to Hong Kong. But before leaving, he goes to Thor's lover's restaurant and finds Chloe waiting for him. She asks him to join him for a drink, and while drinking at the bar, they are hit by an earthquake. And when Chloe sees Fallon helping people with such passion, she hugs him and says that he should not quit the police, but he should become better than before and do whatever it takes to solve the mystery crime. She then leaves, and now Fallon is more confident than he ever was. As his friend calls him and demands to come back at once, Fallon tells him that he will finish his job and doesn't want anyone talking to him in a harsh tone because he is the great police cop Fallon. In the next scene, the commander comes into the room where his grandfather is watching TV and demands he sign some papers. These papers are to make the commander the CEO of the company. The grandfather refuses and he threatens his grandfather, but the secretary comes in between and he kills him. Grandfather quickly signs the papers, but the commander also kills his grandfather to have all the power to himself, meaning as he is cleaning the blood of his sword, Chloe walks in and the drug mafia is now running after her to kill her. Still, Chloe manages to escape him at first, however, she gets caught. On the other hand, the goons are back at Thor's lover's restaurant to teach her a lesson, and a fight breaks in which injures Thor, but Fallon shows up at the perfect moment and tells not to worry and that he will end these goons once and for all. And Fallon does a good job and asks the police to guard and protect its city people. At that moment, Fallon receives a call from the mafia and he tells him to come over if he wants to save his girlfriend and gives him the phone with the evidence. Fallon goes there at once, and as he enters, commanders shoot at him, but his tummy fat saves his life. So as the commander is about to shoot him again, Fallon gives him a tough fight. Commander is angry at Fallon that a fat Hong Kong guy is giving him all the trouble, and they fight in the rooms, punching each other and breaking things in walls. Still, here Fallon is winning. He kicks everyone's ass at once with the help of his girlfriend, and in the end, the mafia and Fallon go to the roof. In the fight off, the commander loses. As Fallon wins, Chloe kisses him and they are rescued from the rooftop by the Japan police with the help of a helicopter. The end. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, and click the bell icon to get new movie recaps.